I'm back. I'm back and I'm not happy. Streamlabs, I'll tell you what. Streamlabs is very nice in terms of the whole super chat system to help out creators. But my god. All I did was switch a couple of tabs using alt tab. Like, when I alt tab, I don't just do alt tab, I like spam it several times. And I tend to like click things several times and like save things several times. I think it might be the ADHD. Like, I like to fidget and do things more than once, so I kind of like alt tabbed several times as a kind of like bored fingers, and I think I crashed the stream. Okay. No. People finding my channel are going to be like, why are all his streams in 2 parts? Just in case anyone's still on the old stream, I'll send a link. We're back. Don't worry, we're back. People streaming back in. Where was I? Where did I... Oh, I was showing, we had Bronn, right? And then I was probably answering a question. It's all good. Let's continue. Let's keep going. Landed knight able to marry a noble lady. For one, the old lady Tanda Stokeworth is desperate for someone to marry her second daughter, as her firstborn Felice doesn't appear to be having any children with her husband. So yeah, it is a kind of bullshit that Bronn is able to marry Lolis, even though yes, within the eyes of Westerosi society, you could argue she's spoiled goods, she's lost her virginity, she's pregnant with a bastard, she's soft of wits, she's the second daughter, so she's not going to inherit anything, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, she's still the daughter of Lady Stokeworth, who I guess you could argue is the equivalent of like a duchess, right? So, and I get that Cersei organised it as a political play, and she's very incompetent, etc. But it's fine. It's just about fine. But you could argue it's slightly a stretch. Okay, we all back. Everyone coming back in. Okay. Also, while we're doing this, if any of you have any suggestions for future book versus show videos, hit me up in the chat. Let me know. I've already mentioned sand snakes could be a fun one, so tell me if you have any other ideas. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. For 2, Lolis is not socially well regarded by the Westerosi nobility. She is simple of mind and soft of body, a victim of thugs who left her pregnant with a bastard during the riot of King's Landing. For 3, Cersei organised the marriage, and this isn't a very old Cersei character design too. This is the one I didn't redesign. This is very old. I'm not a fan of this one. It needs to change. Cersei is a bit of an idiot. Back to the show. Seasons 5 to 8 are where the characters let's go. Wildly diverge. When I said wildly diverge, I probably should have cut to Bronn going, "Oh, for fuck's sake," while zooming in on his face. And I mean wildly. Unfortunately. See, this is why I've missed working with video clips, like in my old Hot D reviews. You just do dumb shit like that. I should put that on a t-shirt. Wildly. Unfortunately for Bronn, the promised marriage to Lolis has been scuppered, and she is instead betrothed to Sir Willis Bracken. So I do wonder, how exactly could the show have dealt with the Bronn storyline? Knowing that Bronn was a popular character, and presumably there are like, you know, viewer statistics that HBO have, and they're like, oh look, Bronn is you know, the highest popular character. We can't just ship him off. What should we do with him? And then they had him be Jaime's eternal buddy, etc. How could they have done this storyline while giving him stuff to do? I think because you can still have some, like, if they'd fully expanded Cersei's, you know, self-implosion, self-destruction, which they isn't super in-depth in the show, surprisingly, even though season 5 is kind of like fillery and really slow pacing wise. It's also incredibly rushed at the same time, which is kind of remarkable. And the Cersei stuff is just so rushed and bizarre, at least in my opinion. But it would have been cool to see part of that being, you know, oh, this Bronn guy is a threat, and he named that son Tyrion, blah blah blah, let's kill him. And then maybe we could have a Bronn cameo in that season where he tries to I don't know. But I think for the most part, you would, if you were to solely stick to the book, you would have had to just have him off screen until he comes back, if he does come back and whatever. I don't know. What could you have done outside of giving him a role like being Jaime's partner? I think it worked for what it was, but it's a shame we didn't see him rise through the ranks more naturally, like piece by piece. That would have been more satisfying than sellsword, becomes knighted, becomes married to a noble, and then that marriage is that betrothal is broken, and then he's just a sellsword again, and then he's still a sellsword, and then he's still a sellsword, and then he's Lord Paramount of the Reach and Master of Coin. Right? There's too much of a jump. It's not really a satisfying arc. But there we go. Not a character in the books, but hey, neither is King Orys I or Maegor III. Yes. Okay, let's address this. She's betrothed instead to Willis Bracken. There are so many fucking characters in the books. You couldn't find a single book character that actually existed. You couldn't find a single, like, unmarried male noble who's never going to appear in the show that you could just say, oh, she's married to this person now. Why would you invent Willis Bracken? It's just odd. Like, literally 5 minutes of Google will get you the characters up and you can just be like, oh, she can marry him. That's a nod to the fans. Yeah, they'll know who that is. Why? It's just odd, you know? It's not as egregious as the infamous Orys I. Not a character in the books, but hey, neither is King Orys, where Tywin is giving King Tommen a fun little story about, a lesson. He's teaching him a lesson about, you know, to be a perfect king, to be a good king, what do you need? And he's like, wisdom. Oh yes, well, so and so was wise, but this piety. So and so was pious, and yet, etc., etc. But instead of, you know, those three examples, and it's a really good setup for a scene, right? And it's good dialogue. But instead of those examples being three Targaryen kings, of which there are 19 or so, instead Tywin just brings up some random guy called King Orys I to make a point about it. It's like, you couldn't have just picked literally any of those 19 Targaryen kings and been like, oh, well, you say that a king should be brave, but Daeron the Conqueror was certainly brave, and what did that do? He failed to conquer Dorne and he was betrayed in a parley, you know. You could have had anyone. And you went with Orys I, who just doesn't exist. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe he was a Stormlander king, right? Because Orys Baratheon was the first member of House Baratheon. It's like, yeah, but Orys was also the bastard half-brother of Aegon, and Orys is kind of a Valyrian-sounding name with a Y and S. So why would a Storm King have a Valyrian name? You know, it's just... Again, I don't think it's nitpicky. I think it's genuinely like, why do you need to do this? Why couldn't you, again, just do 5 seconds of research, get up a list of Targaryen kings if you don't know them off the top of your head, which you probably should if you're running Game of Thrones, but let's say you don't. Let's say you've forgotten, which 3 should we use as a fun lore dump, as a nod to the fans who read the books, like, hey, we're referencing this person, but also a way of expanding the lore for show watchers, to be like, oh, he's just given us like some background, like a bit of a lore dump on 3 different kings. Oh, Baelor was pious, but he starved himself to death. Interesting. Oh, Daeron was brave, but he invaded. Oh, so-and-so did this, but he this. You know, instead of just making up Orys I, because it's just odd. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just, like, strange. It's like, why? Just literally pick any Targaryen king out of a hat and come up with a story. Like, I don't know. Aegon V. Oh yes, Aegon V was certainly a just man, but he had the nobility turning against him, and he struggled to control his children just as much as he struggled to control his realm. Boom, done. Like, let's pick another one. What's a random one you could pick? Aenys I was a good man. Oh yes, certainly a good man, but also a weak man. And his weakness led to his brother, Maegor the Cruel, seizing the throne after his death. Boom. What else can you do? You could do any... Even, I don't know, Viserys II. Oh, I need to be... I need to be frugal with my coin, like Viserys II. Oh yes, Viserys II, he was good with coins, he was smart, he was the hand of the previous king, he was the hand of several kings, and he became king himself, so he had that experience, but... Actually, no. What would you say about Viserys? He was probably poisoned by his son, so he should have done a better job of raising his kids, or something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to stay on this too long. It's the first, or Maegor the Third. Maegor the Third is also baffling, because it's like there just isn't a Maegor the Third. There just isn't. So again, why would you make up a Maegor the Third outlawing Ursery? You could just say that's Maegor the First. Literally outlawing Ursery. Yeah, I can see Maegor the First doing that. Oh, Maegor the First outlawed Ursery. Okay, cool. Done. Right. And the Maegor the Third also implies there's a Maegor the Second somewhere in there. So the only alternative for this, Orys the First, I think, is laziness. Maegor the Third is either like an intentional joke where like Mace is dumb and so he thinks there's a Maegor the Third, but it's like, again, dumb Mace, I'm not a fan of that idea, but is he really so dumb that he thinks there were 3 Maegors? Like, there's being dumb and then there's just literally not knowing basic facts about the world you live in. Like, ugh. Or was it Maegor the First, but the actor misspoke and was like, Maegor the Third, and then the people on set that day kind of weren't on the ball and they were like, yep, cut, let's carry on, and they made a mistake. I don't know. You know what, it's fine. Using existing book characters would be far too easy. Anyway, the duo are captured. Bronn is poisoned and later saved by Tyene Sand. Wooga! And oh my god, I had to use exactly the right frames, right? Because I had to cut just before any booba showed. I would have got in trouble. And he's told that he does not need a good girl, but a substandard cat. Bronn. I hear people like that line. I hear people. The most like common phrase in the comments of this video is substandard cat. I'm definitely going to use that again. Put that shit on a t-shirt. Bronn is later hired by Jaime with more promises of golden castles to attend the siege. What's going on with my voice there? Listen to that. Bronn is later hired by Jaime with more. Bronn is later hired by Jaime with. It sounded like I'm out of breath. Was I like jogging while I recorded this? Promises of golden castles to attend the siege of Riverrun, which is a success, and he later celebrates at the Twins. Hell yeah, good job, Bronn. Of course, siege of Riverrun, Jaime attends that in the books. He's got a whole bunch of people. He's got Lyle Craighall, the strong boar. He has Adam Marbrand. He has Josh Peckledon, the squire. He has all kind of people. He doesn't have Bronn. Bronn is not doing this in the books. I'm not mad with them having Bronn be his buddy. That's fine. Honestly, why didn't they just have it so that like Bronn did become Lord of Stokeworth, so his rise is natural, but then he just joins Jaime anyway? It's like, oh, I'm a Crown Lands lord, so I'm going to help Jaime Lannister and various soldiers with the siege of Riverrun because I'm a Crown Lands lord, I'm showing my loyalty. That way he can still be a lord and he can rise through the ranks, and maybe like he does this for Jaime and he's like, boom, maybe I get a higher station, and then by the last season he's risen through helping the right people, and you know, I don't know. Still desperate for that castle. Whoa, why Bronn joined? Why is the quality so low? What clip did I use? It's the sack of Highgarden and is later. Oh my god, that is slightly embarrassing that this video has like 150k views and like that's the visual quality. Yeah. I don't have the DVDs with me. So I basically relied on YouTube footage, which is like varying degrees of quality, so that was a mistake on that part. That's kind of embarrassing actually. The fact that it goes from like 1080p to like a JPEG, like a GIF. That's a shame. Tyene Sand. And he's told that he does more promises of golden castles to attend the siege of Riverrun, which is a success, and he later celebrates at the Twins. Still desperate for that castle, Bronn joins the sack of Highgarden. Oh, that is bad. I didn't realise how low res that was. And is later ambushed during the Battle of the Gold Road by Daenerys and her Dothraki army. He fights back, and even temporarily cripples Drogon by shooting its wing with a scorpion bolt. When Drogon first got shot, like the energy in the air when he gets shot, and everyone's just thinking like, does Bronn kill Drogon? What? DVD, not even Blu-ray. Not with me. Like, I have the DVDs for the show, but they're at my parents' house. Like I said, I'm a bit lazy, so I'm just like, instead of asking for them, I'm like, I'll just find some clips on YouTube. See, hopefully I can get to the point where I can sit back and actually spend more time on each video. But a lot of the time, what you see is like 2 to 4 days worth of video editing. It's not like a week's worth. It's like I do all the stuff to prep and then I make the video in a really short amount of time. I'm going to get to the point where I don't have to post every 2 weeks just to pay rent, and I can kind of spend a little bit more time fine-tuning a video and like making it as good as possible. He rescues Jaime from Dragonfire and rescues him again from drowning in his plate armor somehow. Here we reach the climax. Yeah, shout out to Bronn dragging a man in full plate armor one-handed out of a river. What a Chad. Of show Bronn's arc. Qyburn and Cersei hire him, promising him that fool's dream of a castle and highborn wife. In return, this is also low quality. Jesus. Must assassinate Tyrion Lannister, his former patron and friend. However, he instead promises to spare Tyrion in exchange for what he's always wanted, and more. Tyrion. So this is the meme where some people predicted Bronn would get the twins because he kept going on about what's double a castle. It's like, oh, well, double a castle, of course, is 2 castles. The twins, which is vacated because I guess Arya genocided every male Frey imaginable or some bullshit. And everyone's like, oh, that's dumb. Him getting the twins, that's stupid. But it was even more stupid than the twins. It was Highgarden. Tyrion promised to pay the sellsword double whatever Cersei offered. And what's double a castle? Well, the twin towers of Frey lay to the north, currently unoccupied after Arya's poison massacre. Bronn is granted the twins, where he... Highgarden. Wait a minute. Wait, huh? Wait. Wait. So yeah, Bronn is granted... So dumb. Rewatching this is like... It's a lot dumber than I remember. Rewatching this, I'm like, how does this have 150k views? Like this? Okay. Crossfire said, I'll take Ariane and Book Tyene over a substandard cat. The chat needs a cold shower. Come on, guys. Stop thinking about Dornish women. Focus. We're talking about Bronn. Focus. Granted Highgarden and the Lord Paramountcy of the Reach, despite having no legitimate blood claim to that title. Using his economic prowess, such as his self-professed lack of knowledge about the nature of debt, he becomes King Bran's master of coin, and presumably runs the kingdom into financial ruin. Someone said... Well, where did it go? Oh, yeah, Iverson said, why did he give Bronn a crossbow? He has his own weapons, right? Cersei wants him to kill Tyrion with a crossbow because she wants it to be symbolic, I think, because Tyrion killed Tywin with a crossbow, so she's like, kill him with a... maybe the same crossbow that killed Tywin, perhaps. In the books, Bronn goes on to marry the pregnant Lolis Stokeworth. Before falling off a horse and shattering her hip, her mother, Tanda Stokeworth, wishes for the bastard to be named Tywin, but Cersei furiously rejects the offer. So Bronn instead names him Tyrion Tanner, which further infuriates her. She grows paranoid that the cutthroat may still be in league with Tyrion, so plots with Felice Stokeworth and her husband, Sir Bowman Birch. Shout out, this is a fun little subplot. Instead of a hunting mishap or a similar tragic accident, Bronn is instead challenged to a duel by Sir Bowman. Bronn crushes the knight underneath his own horse, forces him to confess Cersei's involvement, and then slays him without mercy. I'm worried the music might be a bit loud at this point. I'm so bad with all sorts of audio mixing, honestly. He then gathers up his loyal... Oh, and here we have another fun Patreon cameo. Someone who wanted... They've got a cool coat of arms here, gold and grey, and then they wanted a properly horned helmet. And it's actually, funnily enough, this Patreon cameo is like one of my best design characters. Like, I love the look of that helmet. And kicks Felice out of Castle Stokeworth. Cersei gives the woman to Qyburn to hide her own involvement in a murder plot. She dies in the black cells, screaming. The bedridden lady... Oh, let's watch that again. She dies in the black cells, screaming. Oh. Yeah, sometimes when the video exports, there are a couple of visual glitches. As you can see there, the gate slamming shut. Not a fan of that. This video is far from like my most professional video. All I need is Bronn in the thumbnail. That's the secret to success. The bedridden Lady Tanda, meanwhile, dies of a chill, or perhaps more sinister means. Lolis becomes Lady Lolis, and Bronn declares himself Lord of Stokeworth. Oh, I of course had to give him the Stokeworth lamb on his doublet. The winds of tie into the final line of the video. Winter are approaching, and Bronn's story is not over. Stokeworth is a strategically important piece of land, supplying King's Landing with food. The same is true of Rosby. Lord Giles Rosby died of his illness, leaving no heir. His second wife was a cousin of Lolis Stokeworth, meaning that she, and therefore Bronn, may have a claim to Rosby. If Bronn snatches it, it would grant him control of the Crown Land's breadbasket. Bronn may block food from entering King's Landing during Aegon Targaryen's invasion, aiding the... Hey, we got Aegon Targaryen, young Griff, we've got Rolly Duckfield, we got Jon Connington, we got the crew here. This is actually young Jon Connington, not old Jon Connington. Don't know why I got the younger version. Young monarch. Whether he's truly a Targaryen or a Black... Oh, another shill. Another plug. There we go. More shilling. A victorious Aegon would likely reward Bronn for his help. Perhaps with more land, or an even higher station. If a dance of dragons is waged between Daenerys and Aegon, Bronn may find himself facing off against his former friend Tyrion. Or perhaps the opportunist will pick the side that has dragons. Of course, he may not continue his meteoric... Watching it now, I am noticing some annoying visual glitches. Just every now and then. Rise. Pride comes before the fall, and Bronn's fall would certainly be steep. But for now, the cunning cutthroat remains underestimated, and a wolf in sheep's clothing is a dangerous thing indeed. Now tell me that last line isn't a banger. Wolf-like, wolfish grin, literally in sheep's clothing because he's a Stokeworth. Let's go. Oh, it's our regularly scheduled livestream plane flying overhead to interrupt me. Fantasy Haven finally has some merch. Oh, it finally has some merch, does it? Fantasy Haven finally has merch? Oh, that's cool. Why is it all blurred then, you fucking idiot? So, God, I've discussed this before in my previous, the CK3 livestream I did last week. I had the Gaussian blur effect on. So it was supposed to show the merch. Fantasy Haven has some merch, and it was going to zoom in on the merch, and then the blur effect comes in as, if you want some hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, or mugs, check out Fantasy. Yeah, as fantasyhavenmerch.com pops up, as the text pops up. For some reason, something got fucked up in the export, or something happened that I messed up. Dangerous thing indeed. So Fantasy, the whole merch screen is blurred. So I'm like, Fantasy Haven has merch. Check out the merch. Doesn't it look cool? And it's just like a blurred screen. It's like I'm deliberately hiding it. Like, I have merch, but you're not allowed to see it unless you go to the website. It's like no one's gonna click on it. No one's gonna click on the Fantasy Haven merch website when they can't see what the merch is, because they're gonna get pissed off. They're gonna be like, oh, so you're not just gonna show it to me? Is it that fucking good that you're gonna hide it? It's annoying. Because I didn't expect this video to like blow up or anything, and it's got 150k views in like 2 weeks. Imagine how many people actually might have bought some merch if I didn't blur the entire screen. Ugh. Anyway, speaking of, Fantasy Haven does in fact have merch. fantasyhavenmerch.com. Pretty cool. I could even... Hold on, let me let the video play out. Haven finally has some merch. If you want some hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, or mugs, check out fantasyhavenmerch.com to support the channel. And then I do my special thanks. And if you want to explore the history of House Royce, yeah, and the history of House Royce video has popped off a bit. It's got a few more views. And this one, the ranking sigils, the one that completely and utterly flopped, as even that's got a few more views. So let's go out into the description. fantasyhavenmerch.com. What's this? There we go. Now we get to see it in its in all its non-blurred glory. There we go. We've got... I need to change this actually because it's only showing the black versions, which is kind of boring. But we got some mugs. I might as well just promote this, right? Seeing as I didn't get to promote it on my 150k view video, I might as well do it now. Late Lord Haven mug, Fantasy Haven logo mug, coat of arms mug, beanie with the logo. It's embroidered. all kind of different colours. We got a red one, we got a white one, lots of fun. And of course we've got the hoodie. I've got a purple one personally. The purple one's cool. But then you can go rose, you can go white, you can go green, blue. They're actually quite good quality, which is surprising because it's YouTuber merch. But I went out, it's fourth wall and they're quite high quality stuff. And I bought a sample of all of them. And I was like, damn, this is actually kind of good. I'm wearing the hoodie right now. I'm like, oh shit, this is useful. And then a late Lord Haven t-shirt. If you want to wear a late Lord Haven t-shirt, why not? It's kind of funny. Get this stuff now, because if you wait for me to be a bigger YouTuber, it's going to cost more. What can I say? Yeah, it's cute. I like it. It's fun. Again, I need to change the colours on this featured products page, because then people are going to think everything's black and boring. But yeah. Before we wrap up the live stream, feel free to send in any last questions about Bronn or anything you have to say about Bronn. I will post a poll in the chat to answer the age-old question. What do you want / need? A, the good girl, or B, the substandard cat? Answer the poll. It's in the chat right now. Let me know. The truth shall be revealed. The objective truth. Yeah. What else? What else are we going with? I guess. Yeah. I guess. There we go. We have the Bronn video. People really like book versus show, so I'm going to do more of that. Sand Snakes, Euron, obviously. People want to see Euron. Littlefinger, Varys, fucking Tyrion, right? There are so many characters I could look at. People jokingly telling me to do the real Jon Snow before Alt-Shift-X just to annoy him. I won't do that. I will respectfully wait for him to do his one first, otherwise it's a bit baity. And if you want to support the channel, guess what you can do? If you want to buy some Goofy merch, you can, or you can check out the Patreon for exclusive videos, exclusive wallpapers, art commissions, cameos, access to the Discord where you can chat to the community, chat to me. We can do voice chat sessions and stuff. It's all fun. But if you don't want to support the channel financially, what you can do is just watch videos, like them, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate you guys. You're the live stream crew. I appreciate you a lot. I really should have done this video like as soon as I published the Bronn one. It would have got a lot of views. Now it's now I think I slightly misjudged the timing there, but I've been busy. Who's winning the poll? What do you want / need? Good girl or substandard cat? Substandard cat is winning by 68%, but it's not unanimous. Good girl, 32%. Some people want the good girl. They don't want the substandard cat. I do respect it. Before we wrap up, I'm going to see what the chat has to say about stuff, because I love you guys. What I don't get about Bronn getting High Garden is that he's actually Bronn Flowers, a bastard from the Reach, whose father was Garth Greenhand, the king of the Reach from the Age of Heroes. Damn. He's got a closer claim than everyone. He better be good to her, I assume. Oh yeah, April, May. Bronn is going to want to get a baby on Lolis. Yes. To secure his position, he needs to get her pregnant. He better be good to her. No way of knowing. My assumption is that Bronn's probably, like, he's callous. He's ruthless. He's not sadistic. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to abuse Lolis. He's just not going to give a shit about her beyond what she represents politically. So he's probably just going to get her pregnant and leave her to her own devices. How does Bronn fit into the Zuma summer invasion? Well, of course, the Zuma summer invasion is the invasion of young Griff with his pals, ready for the White Boy Summer. Tyrek Lannister, who's going to be the puppet ruler of Casterly Rock, as well as Edric Storm, who's going to be legitimised as Edric Baratheon, who's going to be picked up from Lys and made the puppet ruler of Storm's End. And Edmure will join their cause. Although Edmure's not a Zoomer, he's like a millennial who thinks he's a Zoomer, but he's not really. People debating King Bran. Wearing his own merch classy. Of course, I had to wear my own merch. It's not like anyone's going to recognise me. I'm not big enough. People are going to be like, oh shit, Fantasy Haven. They're going to be like, first off, why are you out of your prison? Secondly, what are you wearing? Because obviously, Guantanamo Bay. That's where I live. Who's winning? Oh, substandard cat is... Okay, 69% for substandard cat, so I'm going to end the poll there. Perfect. With 35 votes in, 60... Oh, it went down to 68 just as I ended it. 68 say they prefer the substandard cat to the good girl. What am I... This is my job. What am I doing with my life? Do they ship to the US? They do. US, Australia, and Europe, I believe. That's another thing about Fourth Wall. It's international, it's high quality, it's very kind to consumers and also kind to creators. And it's got some big YouTubers like Philip DeFranco and so on involved in it. So I did a bunch of research. Like I was like, do I do Teespring? Should I do some of these other places? And then Fourth Wall was like the best deal for everyone. And I was like, hell yeah. How'd the weather in Guantanamo Bay? Sunny. They let me out the torture room every now and then to make videos. I don't even know how I managed to smuggle Haven merch in here, but... Yeah, 68% to 31%. That's some bullshit. Okay. Time to wrap up. Love you all. Thank you for watching the live stream. Next up, I'll be posting June Part 1 versus the first half of June the book from the 1960s. And after that, back to our scheduled programming of Song of Ice and Fire. And April, May in the chat, get better. Hope your head gets better. And everyone else, take care. I will try to do future live streams that don't crash halfway through, but maybe that'll be the next bit. Maybe Late Lord, I arrived to my live streams late and they crash. Maybe that'll be part of the Haven lore. Okay. Goodbye, and make sure to drink some Lysa milk before bed.